most beloved children, a very fine good evening to you all. Dear parent, we know that parenting is a blessing. There is no doubt in that. But as parents, many of us, many times might have experienced some sort of challenges in parenting. It's quite natural. When we are facing challenges in the role of a parent, we used to get chaos, confused, and we will be in dilemmas. On the one side, when we say that parenting is a blessing by the Almighty, we should know that how can we furnish ourselves, sharpen ourselves to be a good parent. Normally, the parents used to say that the teachers are everything for a child. And the same parent will use one word, dear teacher, please try to be just like his mother in the school, just like his father in the school, just like his parent in the school. So again, they're coining the same word, just like be a parent in the school. If you're treating him as a parent, we used to say that. I mean, the heads of operations or the educational field, the people those are in the educational field, they used to say to the teachers, kindly treat the children as a parent, just like your own child. The child will show visible changes. Again, we are coining the same word, try to be just like a parent. So the role of a parent is much, much important than anything else. Here it lies the need of sharpening the tools of a parent. Sharpening the tools, what I mean, not for fighting with the child, but for understanding the child in the right sense. Why I told you parenting is a blessing? Because through parenting we are getting two experiences simultaneously. One, as a parent, through our child, we are experiencing our own childhood. When I was in 10 years of old, I was like this, but my son is like this. That experience we are getting, one. Second experience, we are experiencing while we are a parent, the role of a father or a mother. So these two experiences simultaneously we are experiencing when we are doing the role of a parent. The Noble family truly believe that we need to get more information, we need to get more authentic ideas to be good parent for our children, for molding our children into the best citizens of the world. There is no doubt. For that we have got a right person here, Anto Michael sir. And for Noble family, he is not a new person. He has been closely connected with Noble family. He has already given session to the parents and to the children. So we know the expertiseness and the grand feast he is going to serve here with us for helping us to understand more what we are, where we are supposed to be, what we are supposed to do. And it's my duty, my pleasure to invite him into this session by formally introducing him. Mr. Anto Michael, he is a postgraduate in two subjects, in psychology and in literature, English literature with Bachelor of Education. Of course, he has finished his Master of Philosophy and PGDFC course. He is an internationally certified trainer from Hay Institute, USA. He is a mentor of psychological topics like Enneagram, Ho'oponopono, Ikigai, micro-resilience, psychogeometrics, psycho-cybernetics, Nunchi, mood therapy, ABCD technique, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, REBT, these are from NIMHANS, and prosperity consciousness, and many more to mention. He is the director of St. Diphanas Self-Improvement Hub, a center of peace of mind. Of course, he is a motivational speaker, and above all, than whatever mentioned in his profile, I would like to mention he is a wide reader with vast knowledge, whatever related with students, counseling, character formations, personality traits, whatever we have doubts. No doubt, once we are listening to his sessions, we will be able to understand how deeply he has gone to the subject and how far he is enriched. And with immense pleasure, on behalf of the whole noble family, on behalf of the whole parents here, on behalf of the school management, the teaching faculty here, it's my pleasure to invite the Honorable Speaker of the Day. Andrew sir, the platform is open to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. എൻ്റെ നാട്ടിലുള്ള മലയാളികൾക്ക് നമസ്കാരം. At the outset, I thank the Almighty for placing me before such an elite family. Noble International School, Doha, Qatar. I thank God for blessing me with such a blessed moment. I thank Venerable Principal, Vice Principals, respected teachers, doting parents, and loving and lovable children. Ineffable gratitude to Shibu sir for inviting me again. This is the second time I am with you. And showering such a bouquet of words on me. If my wife were with me, she would definitely have exclaimed, now I understand the greatness of my husband. So thanks to your good words. Let me comment at the outset, this is not at all a class. This is not at all a motivational talk, because I am also a parent. We can share something. Keep a notebook and a pen if you wish, because I am sharing the psychologically proven points of various psychologists like Raymond Aron, Sharon Lecher, Tony Robbins, Gary King, Prashant Jindal, Fogg, Lakme Debroy, and many more. I forgot to mention Shehabuddin sir, Robin Jos sir, and Jaimon sir, Asma. Thank you. Thank you very much for being with me. And it is such a pleasure to see you again. So this is not at all going to be a class. It will never be a training. This will be a sharing of some tips that might help all of us to grow, to mold ourselves as better parents than we were yesterday. Did you like my title, Parenting Plums? Even if I had named it in another way, like Parenting Pasta, you might have liked it. If I had named it as Parenting Pudding, definitely you would have liked it. You would have liked Parenting Peanuts. You would definitely have liked Parenting Pastry also. Because the concern is not with the second part. Our concern is with the first part, parenting. I will say parenting is one of the most difficult endeavors. You may not agree, but I'm quite sure one man will definitely agree today. Now it is 9:30 p.m. here. If that man were with me, he would definitely pat on my back and will say, Andrew, you are right. Parenting is one of the most difficult endeavors. Do you know who that parent is? You might have guessed. A well-known actor, an illustrious man. He will definitely agree. Yeah, definitely. Shah Rukh Khan will definitely agree. He will agree to a T that parenting is a hard nut to crack. It is like cutting the Gordian knot. Actually, in sooth, if the truth must be told, we do not have a recipe for parenting. That is what makes this parenting a tough process. We do not have a recipe for parenting. Why? Because the ingredients are different. My child, my daughter will not be like yours. Am I right? Each child is unique, different. You know that. I would like to start this get together with a very famous adage which I cherish in my heart. Like parents, like children. Now I may be complaining to my friends like this. Ravi, what happened to my daughter? She's short-tempered. She's lazy. She doesn't respect the senior citizens. But I do not understand, I do not comprehend that my daughter is exactly imitating me. They will definitely object. Anne Sullivan, the famous teacher of Helen Keller, once told, children require guidance and sympathy far more than instruction. Children require guidance and sympathy far more than instruction. Exactly. You might have heard of the very famous sentences of Dorothy Law Hotel. I always remember, because whenever my child exhibits some undesirable trait, these sentences come to my mind. Quote, Dorothy Law Holte. If a child leaves with criticism, he learns to condemn. If my spouse and I use words filled with criticism, my daughter will definitely learn to condemn his or her friends. Sentence number 2. If a child leaves with hostility, he learns to fight. If I am hostile to the person living adjacent to my home, definitely my Isabel will learn to fight with Anabika, her friend. Sentence number 3. If a child lives with ridicule, he learns to be shy. If a child learns with shame, he learns to feel guilty. If a child lives with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. He did not attend any motivating session. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, not price, praise, he learns to appreciate. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice. If a child learns with security, he learns to have faith. If a child lives with approval, he learns to like himself. The last sentence, if a child lives with acceptance and friendship, he learns to find love in the world. What a beautiful sentence. If my wife is my friend, if I am friendly with my spouse, if I have acceptance with regard to my parents, kith and kin, my child will learn to find love in the world. It is said, parenting is not a noun. Parenting is a verb. We, the parents, have to love like. Can you complete the sentence? We, the parents, have to love our children like. We, the parents, have to love our children like we breathe. Like we breathe. Just imagine, if I ask the parents who are present here not to breathe, will you obey me? You will leave the session and breathe. Take continuous breath. Take continuous breaths. Because you know that you have to breathe in order to live. You cannot help breathing. That is the only option. That is the Hobson's choice left for you. This should be my attitude. I have no other option but to love my child, but to love my children. But is it happening? In lion's share of situations, such a situation does not happen. We consider our children as competitors. I use the pronoun we deliberately. I often perpetrate the same mistakes. We consider our children as competitors, always running a race with an undefining finishing line. We do not know what the finishing line is. And with each passing year, the expectations of the parents escalate. We always discuss our children among ourselves. Am I right? My daughter is writing. For example, my daughter is writing entrance exam inside the examination hall. I will be standing outside. I will meet Robin Josar. His son is also writing the entrance exam. What will be the subject of our talk? The future of my daughter. He will be speaking volumes about the future of his son. He will say, I am planning to send my son to UK. Will I spare him? I will say, I am going to send my daughter to Switzerland to study degree course. See, we always discuss our children among ourselves. We do not want our children to waste a single minute. We ask them to make the best use of that time. We are not at all happy with the achievements of our children. We want them to excel in everything. In the classroom, at home, before the principal, before Shehabuddin sir, before Jaimon sir, in the mall, even in loo. Good manners. Are we really happy if our children get an 8 out of 10? Are we really happy? That is the question. We are forgetting the fact that parenting is not a race. We need to win. The life of my daughter Isabel is not a race for Anto Michael to win. Isabel is the name of my daughter. Anto Michael is my name. The life of Isabel, my daughter, is not a race for Anto Michael to win. Actually, overburdening and excessive criticism from our side take a mental toll. Actually, I use the word deliberately, a mental toll on the child. Famous pediatrician Patrick once said, children as young as 5 are suffering from anxiety attacks. We, the parents, need to focus on the emotional development of the child. But unfortunately, quite unfortunately, we lay stress on physical development and intellectual development, academic development. Am I right? You can definitely ventilate your objections. Let this be an interactive session. We are not parenting. I often feel so. We are over-parenting. We always blame the upcoming event, the mid-semester exam, end semester exam, final exam, piano lesson, school projects. We always have anxiety. The list is endless. Even this session might have given pressure to the children. Parents might have told them, Shibu, this is the instruction of Shibu sir. Jaimon sir has given the strict instruction. Robin sir also stressed the point. Attend. We never realize that we are not at all going to get this moment back. We are not going to get back the good night kisses, dining table chats, the walk we can have with our children in the park. We are not going to get them back. We intentionally keep them away. We are strict about little things, like eating every morsel of food on the plate. We argue with our 5-year-old child about keeping the bed clean. We end up constantly telling our 13-year-old what to wear for which occasion, what sports you should choose. No, not volleyball, golf. Which friends you should talk to in the class. We, including myself, do not allow our children to make their own choices. We think that some actions are right, some actions are wrong. We never tell our children that there is no such a thing. We never let the child do things their way. We never let them do that. We are scared of our children failing. We will never allow them to become Napoleon or King Bruce. But we will teach them story of Napoleon and the story of King Bruce. We will ask them to write an essay on King Bruce, but we are scared of our child failing. 3 months ago, the son of a mother in our self-improvement hub group put an end to his fabulous life. Reason, very simple. He failed to submit his project for PhD. See, not +2, not SSLC, PhD. He was a prodigy. He ended his life. He was the only one child of the parents. It is said parents exerted excessive pressure on the child. We are scared of our child failing. I cannot stand the idea of my child not doing well, even in the first standard. I am scared of my child not reciting her rhymes well. I am scared of my child not presenting her project well in front of the class. I end up having a fight with others because they are ill-treating my daughter. I even create a quarrel with my own parents because they ill-treated my child. We complain about our class teachers for not giving enough attention to our children. We argue with the management when our children are not placed in the front row of a group dance performance on the stage. Why did you place my daughter in the last row? Isn't she pulchritudinous, beautiful? Yes, Robin sir might say, yeah, every inch. Then why did you place my daughter in the last row? I need an answer. We forget the fact that every child is unique. And as a parent, we have to teach our children skills. Anne Landers, the very famous thinker, once said like this: it is not what you do for your children, but what you have taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings. May I repeat? It is not what you do for your children, not what you do for your children, but what you have taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings. How many of us are trying our level best to do this? According to the famous child psychologist Sharon Lecher, it is the duty and responsibility of each and every parent to teach the life skills to children. Problem solving. I don't know what your case is. In my place, Kerala, it is said, a literate state, the sobriquet of Kerala is God's own country, even though the term was stolen from New Zealand. Here, more than 400 students committed suicide during this short span of corona attack. And the number is increasing daily. 2 weeks ago, a student in Koilon district in Kerala committed suicide. Reason is very, very serious. Mother did not give the remote. Very serious cause. Mother did not give the daughter the remote to change the channel. A very serious reason she ended her life. See, we the parents do not equip our own children to solve problems. Children face many challenges when they grow up, whether it is while starting school or joining a sports team or selecting peer groups. We do not allow them to solve problems. We solve problems for them. We solve problems for them. Children need to be taught how to identify problems, generate ideas for solutions, and learn to try to solve problems on their own. We should not run to their rescue all the time. There's a very famous IS officer in Kerala. I cannot quote this case in Kerala. Malayalis might know his name. He won laurels in almost all the examinations he attended from SSLC onwards. SSLC +2, so on and so forth. Became an IAS officer. But he met his administrative side. One day he said, Andrew, do you know one thing? When this man, this well-known IAS officer, was a student in our college, his parents used to accompany him. They were government employees, but for the sake of their son, they voluntarily retired from service. They opted for voluntary retirement. After opting for voluntary retirement, they dedicated their whole lives to accompany their son, only one son, to college. They used to accompany the son. He would enter the college campus. They would wait outside inside the car. At 1 o'clock, lunchtime, son would come out of the college campus, enter the car, had lunch with the parents, and return. In the evening, these loving and lovable parents took the son to home to prepare the homeworks, to study for the next day. Yes, he became brilliant in answer sheets. But as I use the term, he met his Waterloo in life. Decision making ought to be a skill for our children. Psychotherapist Padma asks a very thought-provoking question to the parents of the world. Dear parents, you should ask such a question once in a while. Suppose if we die today, we means father and mother, will our children be able to tackle the problems they are going to encounter in their lives? Giving children opportunities to take decisions in their day-to-day life is a skill. Yes, they will be good at carrying out programmed decisions. There are programmed decisions. Wake up at 5, go to the washroom, take the brush, wash your body, eat food. These are programmed decisions and our children will be comfortable. There are clear rules and guidelines. But the real test comes in unprogrammed decisions. Have we equipped them for that? Have we made our children independent? Independent thinking skills are very important for a child's development. This is not my comment. This is the comment of Dr. Zirak Marker, a very famous adolescent psychiatrist. Children should be taught the importance of being different. They should be taught to live in a different way. You are not destined to live up to everyone's expectations. Here we are training our children to live up to our expectations. I could not become a doctor, so I lay full trust in you, my dear Susan. You should become a doctor and satisfy my long cherished ambition. I had so many obstacles to become a doctor, so I didn't become, but you can. I am creating the full-fledged ambience for you to become a doctor. We must teach our children the skill of creativity. Creative thinking helps the child to think out of the box. We should encourage them to follow their passion. We would encourage them to ask more questions and create their own life. Will we allow? If my daughter comes before me and says like this, Papa, I would like to become an author. Give me the opportunities. What will be my usual reply? Complete your MBBS or complete your BTech or become an IAS officer and then turn to writing. We do not teach the skill of critical thinking to our children. Ellen Galinsky, the author of Mind in the Making, you might have read that very famous book, Mind in the Making. Ellen says about critical thinking in detail. She talks about critical thinking in her list of 7 essential life skills needed by every child. Children should be able to critically analyze information and differentiate between right and wrong. As actor whom I mentioned in the beginning of my session did not have the critical thinking to differentiate between right and wrong. That's why he is facing the repercussions now. Self-awareness, another skill we have to teach our children. If my daughter is aware of her strength, if my daughter is aware of her drawback, limitations, she will never commit suicide. Children should be able to keep track of what they are doing, and they should be able to figure out what is working in their life and what is not working for them. They should be aware. Self-awareness leads to self-reflection. They should be able to think over things that happened in order to find ways to make things work better next time. This time I failed, but this time I failed. Next time, victory will be mine. Such a sentence should ooze out from the lips of our children. For that, my daughter should have the skill of self-awareness. I have mentioned 6 skills, and the 7th skill is interpersonal relationships. Personally speaking, I do feel that our children are not at all good at building interpersonal relationships. Why? Because we do not give room for them. We always focus on their intellectual development. I know an entrance coaching center in Kerala. I do not give a clue by mentioning the district in which it is located. Once a child, I see Robin sir smiling. Once a child reported to me that last week we had an examination and I was preparing my lessons sitting in the latrine. I simply asked out of curiosity, didn't you have a seat in the room? Sir, the room was filled with my classmates. And I had some rare notes which I browsed from the net. I did not want to share them with my classmates because I wanted to score the position of the topper. So the best place I found a congenial. I asked, where did you sit? I comfortably sat on the lid of the closet. I reiterated my query. Were you really comfortable? Yes, I was comfortable. And I became the winner. See, interpersonal relationships are very much lacking in. When my father and mother come to visit me, I will tell my daughter, Isabel, go upstairs and prepare for exam tomorrow. And I will tell my parents, Father, she is as busy as me. She has a lot to learn because the syllabus of Noble International School is great, fantabulous. She has a lot to learn. Dr. Marker stresses on teaching the child to maintain good relationships with others. We do not take our children to social gatherings. When a wedding occurs in our family, we express reluctance to take our children along with us. And the next social skill we ought to teach our children is empathy. Empathy. Empathy is seeing with the eyes of another. Empathy is listening with the ears of another. Empathy is feeling with the heart of another. Children must be able to put themselves in the shoes of another human being. When I am bedridden, my daughter should prepare a cup of tea for me. When my wife is ailing, my daughter should care for her. Am I right? And the ninth skill these psychotherapists are mentioning is money management. Money management. We do not teach our children to save money. We do not teach children the value of money. Actually, our children do not know. They are in the dark about our real financial condition. How many of us ask our children to keep an account book? We may be giving pocket money to our children every month. Even if we forget, our children will not forget. They will not efface the memory of the pocket money they have been getting. I'm not against giving pocket money to our children. Give pocket money. But we should specify the categories to which the money should be spent. Are you getting me? For example, I am giving 1,000 rupees this month. I ought to scribble like this: ice cream 100 rupees, toys 400 rupees, Pizza Hut 200 rupees, clothes 300 rupees. At the end of the month, I have the responsibility to check the account book. Or when she asks for another 100 rupees for ice cream, I should say a big, beautiful no. No, you have used the allotted amount for ice cream. I allotted 100 rupees for ice cream. And in the next month, I will give you. What will happen? The child will learn how to spend money. The next month, he will never use the cash for toys, Pizza Hut, or clothes. She will save the money to buy bundles of ice creams. Leadership is another quality we should teach our children. Here we hear a lot of stories, news items about our children acting impulsively. We must not act impulsively. Children must not act impulsively. Doing what is right, even when no one is watching, is the trait of a leader. We should teach our children. Do what is right, even when no one is watching. If a child cannot accept and tolerate people, irrespective of gender, class, sexual orientation, race, disability, then it is the responsibility of parents to help the child to be tolerant. The last skill to be taught is time management. We should teach them what is the time needed for something. What is the time needed for watching Honey Bunny? What is the time needed for watching YouTube? What is the time needed for doing tasks on time? You have to be on time. Thinking of an idea that is relevant to our time, that is also part of time management. Think of an idea that is relevant to our time. This is exam time. Playing with friends for more than 1 hour is irrelevant. We should teach our children. It is part of the time management. But very often we forget the importance of these life skills. Why? Because we either become tiger parents or jellyfish parents. We never become dolphin parents. Tiger parents, you may be aware of it. It is a term coined by Yale Law School professor Amy Chua. Tiger parents are always those parents who are hovering around their children, deciding what they should do, what they should not do. The child of a tiger parent cannot watch a movie, use the computer for anything but studies, or call our friends. The tiger parent will never allow the children to call their friends unless approved by them. The children of tiger parents may be successful during the initial years of their lives because parents are helping them out in every step and ensuring that things are done perfectly. Just like the case of the IAS officer I have mentioned minutes ago. But when the children of these tiger parents leave school or college and enter the real life, problems will crop up. What are the specialties of jellyfish parents? The term of jellyfish parenting was coined by Shimi Kang in the magazine Psychology Today, a very famous magazine pertaining to psychology. This is exactly the opposite of tiger parenting. I do feel that jellyfish parents are increasing day by day. Modern generation parents, a lion's share of the modern generation parents, I think, can be grouped under the category of jellyfish parent. This is exactly the opposite of tiger parenting. Means jellyfish parents are overly lenient. Parents are happy-go-lucky ones who do not like to bother their children at all with studies. We are friends. We hold our hands and go to watch movies. We are friends. Yes, the children of jellyfish parents may appear to be very smart, extroverts, and confident, but they will lack direction in their lives because the parents do not guide them. So they may be academically weak, definitely. They will not be willing to take life seriously. They will lack discipline. They will not be willing to follow any rules. So what I should become is a dolphin parent. The most balanced and ideal form of parenting is dolphin parenting. I should be able to guide my children in the right way. I should be able to give the right piece of advice to my children when required. I should create a healthy atmosphere for the development of my children. That is the specialty of dolphin parents. But we are not at all concerned about this overall comprehensive development of the child. Robert Lew, in his book, Last Child in the Woods, a very famous book, Last Child in the Woods, wrote strongly about nature deficit disorder. Robert says that this disorder is prevalent in the contemporary children. Nature deficit disorder. What is it? We are wired to be overprotective. We ask our children, don't play in the sun. Don't touch the tree. Don't play in the grass because you will get dirty. Or else we will say, go and play, but please do not come back in dirty clothes. These are the things we tell our children often. On one side, we teach our children that nature is dirty and unhealthy. But we teach the same children to save nature and save the trees. On Environment Day, we ask the children to plant trees and do the deeds of gardening. This behavior on the part of the parents might confuse the child. We should allow our children to spend time with nature. Let the child get dirty on the beach. Allow them to get drenched in the rain. And we should allow the children splash water in the puddle. We do not allow the children even to play. You might know that Denmark has been voted as the happiest country since 1973. There is a famous saying in Denmark, happy kids grow up to be happy adults. Who raise happy kids? I will repeat, happy kids grow up to be happy adult who raise happy kids. If my daughter is a happy kid, she will grow up to be a happy woman who will deliver happy children. According to Rogers, play is often talked about as if it were a relief from serious learning. Isn't it so? We often think that play is a relief from serious learning. But remember, for children, it is a serious learning. Play itself is a serious learning. World is changing like that. Fortune magazine labeled Lego as the toy of the century. This Lego originated from Denmark. They know the importance of play in the life of a child. We, the parents, encourage only a fixed mindset in our children. A fixed mindset in our children. In the US, many parents believe that praising a child freely will raise their confidence. We also have the same belief. If we praise a child on end, will raise their confidence. But the modern study of Carol S. Dweck it's a different theory. If a kid is constantly praised, they will develop a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset. On the other hand, if a parent says like this, just imagine, you are intelligent, my son, you are intelligent. But it can be developed a lot with your hard work. Then what will happen? This fixed mindset will change into growth mindset. The best is yet to come. Another comment we can tell our children. Then the fixed mindset will change into growth mindset. But we cannot implement this growth mindset in the life of our children. Why? Because we are wearing the old glasses our parents gave us. So the first and foremost thing we have to do is to take off our old glasses. We feel that, I feel that my perception of life is the truth. But it is my truth only. It is not the truth of my daughter. Your perception of life is your truth only, not the truth of your children. Imagine you are standing in an art gallery. A picture is hanging on the wall. A negative picture you conclude because the mood is gloomy. Characters are very sad looking. So you conclude this picture is a negative one, not at all jubilant. Suddenly the guide comes and tells you, sir, did you notice this picture? This is the best picture in the gallery. You may be wonderstruck. The guide will continue. Did you notice the happy people bearing gifts behind that particular tree? Then you will say, oh, I see. I haven't seen that before. When you mentioned about those happy people bearing gifts behind that particular tree, now I notice them. The guide will ask you, sir, did you see the light streaming through the window? Then you will say, yeah. Now I am watching the light streaming through the window. Respected parents, our children are like this picture. If we take a deliberate effort to see what is good in our children, we will definitely find them. Actually, children love life. Life is simple for them. But we are the culprits who are making life really complicated for them. This is the opinion of Jessica Alexander. We complicate the life of our children. Exam is simple for them. We make it complicated. Corona taught this lesson. Exams are not at all needed, even not at all necessary in a school curriculum. Even classrooms are not necessary in our academic life. But we make life complicated for them. When the child approaches a stove, we will shout, don't touch, it is hot. You might ask me, is it not hot? Yes, it is hot. Let the child learn a lesson by doing. How many of us create reading habits in our children? How many of us give opportunities to our children to see their parents read daily? Is my question clear? How many of our children see their parents read newspapers? We do not read books. We do not read newspapers, but we will yell at our children, open the book and study. How many of us plant trees? We give them promises and we threaten them. We do not keep the promises. We do not keep the threats. Modern psychology dedicates a lot of time to this topic. Modern parents spoil children by not carrying out their promises and threats. We do not give our children our presence, presence, but we give our children our presence, presents. We are not present for them, but our presence are for them. Jessica recites a very interesting anecdote from her own life. Her child was in first standard. She was not ready to go to school bus when the driver put the horn. Jessica said, "Daughter Anna, I will take you to bus in whatever shape you are in when the bus comes." The next day, the bus came. Anna was not ready to go to school bus. Jessica kept the word. She did it. She took Anna in whatever shape she was to the bus. The driver said, "No, you cannot enter the bus without wearing dress in a proper way." Jessica narrates, from the next day onwards, Anna was in Bristol fashion when the bus came. Communication in the contemporary houses is not at all up to the mark. Psychology says that our conversation inside our homes are super satisfying. Parents ask, "How was your day?" "Fine." "What did you do today?" "Nothing special." "Nothing?" "Yeah, nothing, as usual." Conversation ends. Parents are busy. Children are all the more busy. Jessica simply asked some very simple questions, which might appear very silly to the parents like us. We are very busy. When was the last time you kissed your child from the heart? When was the last time you massaged your children while they were watching television? When was the last time you sent an unexpected email to your children? When was the last time you picked them from school unexpectedly? Like a bolt from the blue. When did you pick them from school? When was the last time you hosted them a surprise party? When was the last time you asked for their advice? When was the last time you spent 2 hours at least after unplugging your entire technology? You will grope in darkness to find the answers. We do not teach our children for conflict busting. This is the term in psychology. Conflict busting. Parents as well as teachers very often fail in this area because children very often do not know how to come out of a conflict. maybe a failure in the exam, maybe failure in a relationship, love failure. We know the case of Sushant Singh Rajput. If an adult can commit such a sin like this, what will be the plight of our children? Children do not know, very often do not know how to come out of conflicts. Monique Howard, the famous psychologist, asked the parents to use strengthening sentences to children when children, I understand. Only two words are there. When my child faces a conflict, I should say, I understand. I understand that you are in sadness, you are sad, you are desperate. Second sentence, what can we do to make things better in the future? You got very low marks in history. My child, my son, what can we do to make things better in the future? The child will respond, surprising us. Third question proposed by Monique Howard is this: how do we make it right? How do we make it right? If the parents are willing, if the parents have time to ask any one of these questions, our children will never commit suicide. I understand. What can we do to make things better in the future? How do we make it right? And the next sentence I like a lot. There is no right or wrong answer, my dear child. There is no right or wrong answer. The last one, it is okay. Let us move on. I am with you. What a strength this sentence would give our children. It is okay. Let us move on. I am with you. Actually, what happens is this. When our children faces a crisis, verbally as well as non-verbally, we communicate to our children that we are not with them. Monique Howard, that is why, asks us to use these sentences whenever our children encounter crisis. I understand. What can we do to make things better in life, in the future? How do we make it right? There is no right or wrong answer, my dear. It is okay. Let us move on. I am with you. We should tell our children that you can tell me anything. You might be thinking, yes, we often tell our children that you can tell me anything. But this is not what we mean exactly. Normally we mean, tell me the things I want to hear. We do not allow the full freedom, full-fledged freedom to our children to tell us anything. My dear son, my dear daughter, tell me the things I want to hear. That is why if our son says something, if my daughter says something which I do not want to hear, I will be like a bear with its tail in the trap. Our children ought to feel that my papa, my mama, they are here in this world to hear whatever feelings, whatever thoughts that are generated in my mind. We proclaim injunctions in the lives of our children. Eric Berne uses this word, injunction. Don't go there. Don't sleep. I think this injunction might have been aired very often in the session itself. Many of the children might have had an inclination to sleep. Parents might have asked them, don't sleep, don't sleep now. Robin sir will make a note of your slumber. Don't sleep. Devon sir is also there. Children may be telling the parents, look, Shihabuddin sir is looking in a drowsy way. He will sleep within seconds. Why can't I sleep? Then what should be our strategy? We should ask, is this right or wrong? Is this right or wrong? We often ask a very different question. Why did you do that? Why are you sleeping? What are you thinking when you sleep? Do you feel badly for what you have done? These are the normal queries we pose before our children. You will say, do you feel badly for what you have done? Do you feel badly for what you are sleeping? They will simply say no. The class is boring and I want to sleep. They will say. Then we will grope in darkness to explain our viewpoint. We should make our children accountable for their actions. They should take the accountability. The easy way to help our kids become accountable for their actions is to encourage them to stop and ask themselves a very simple question. Is it right or wrong to sleep during a class? Let them answer. Is it right or wrong not to brush your teeth? Is it right or wrong not to obey your parents? Game changers is another parenting plan. Game changer, that is the term. We know that banks increase loan rates in certain months. For example, in December, for example, just imagine, the State Bank of India is going to increase loan rate in the coming December. What will they do? They will start advertisements even from September on. What will we do? We will overlook, we will neglect the advertisements. But right, such a strategy can be applied in our parenting style also. Parents should give lot of warnings of our game changers. Now, November 1, from November 1st onwards, the schools in Kerala are going to reopen. What should the parents do? From September onwards, they should keep on telling the children, now it is September, you can sleep like this. You need not bath, you need not brush your teeth. Okay. But from November onwards, you will have to study, you will have to prepare for examination. That is a must. So the children will never feel the pressure from your side. They will never feel the pressure from your side. Parents should show the boomerang effect in front of our children. This is another plum. We all expect a negative reaction from a negative action. You will all agree with me. We all expect a negative reaction from a negative action, right? Children will also expect a negative reaction from a negative action. But when your child does something wrong, in the contemporary world, our love is profound as ocean. This is a faulty parenting method. When our children do something wrong, ask them, son, what punishment do you expect from this bad behavior? Simply ask, what do you expect from me? We do not have time to ask such questions. We impose punishments. Simply carry out this experiment just for the sake of experiment. When your child does something wrong, ask them, what punishment do you expect from this bad behavior? What will be their reply? Dad, you can beat me, or you can punch me, or you can throw me into the pit. You must use this to your advantage, you are going to say. You should say like this. At first, I thought of beating you, but I trust you will never repeat this bad behavior. So all I do is to take away your computer games for 2 days. What happens here? The love of our children towards us doesn't lessen, decrease. At the same time, hand in hand, our children understand that they have perpetrated. They have done something wrong. If we do not act in this way, what happens? The normal behavior of kids is this. They behave badly, parents ignore. Kids repeat the same behavior. Why? Because there was no consequence yesterday. We, the parents, again ignore, saying that we love them a lot. What will kids do? Kids will repeat expecting the same result. Kids will repeat the same bad behavior expecting the same result of the parents. Now, at this juncture, we punish them, we impose pressure on them. Children are getting confused. They wonder what has happened to my parents. Is it the fault of children or is it the fault of parents? We often speak volumes about unconditional love. We preach about unconditional love, but we do not practice. One day I was really engrossed in finishing of a report in my room. So my daughter Isabel was trying to get my attention. She was holding a comic book and she was trying to get my attention. So I simply told her, Isa, I love you a lot. She was unimpressed. She replied, I do not want you to love me. I want you to play football with me. This is what the children need. They need our time. If we give our time to them, it will make all the difference now and in the future. Always say what you mean and mean what you say. I will always love you no matter what. Never say such words if you do not mean them. Because kids are natural psychologists and can make out if what you are saying is true or not. I will always love you no matter what. The next moment the child is not drinking milk, you become furious. That's why I told you, I will always love you no matter what. Never say such words if you do not mean them. If our children feel you do not mean what you say, then they might stop trusting you. That is the problem. We should tell our children quite often, we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We should tell our children, when you make a mistake, I will scold you. When I scold you, it does not mean I do not love you. It simply means I do not approve of such behavior. Trust me, I am applying all these tactics in the life of my daughter. We all make mistakes. When you make a mistake, I might scold you. I might beat you. It does not mean I do not love you. It just means I do not approve of this particular deed. We should help kids with the course, homeworks, problems. During those times, say sincerely, because I love you, I will always help you. But contemporary parents do not ask the children to do the course inside the home because we have servants. How many of us have equipped our children to do the daily routines inside the home? Very rarely we ask our children to do the daily deeds in the home because we are afraid that if they do the jobs in the house, that might curtail, that might adversely affect their study time. When our children are back from school, we should smile and say, I really missed you all day today. This is a 1-minute magic. Because the first few minutes of entering home in the evening are critically important. Very much important. Start practicing different types of soothing words. I really missed you, dear. If possible, if your health allows, lift your kid up often and say, I'm so lucky to have a son or daughter like you. You may be thinking it cannot be this simple, but almost always it is the small and simple things that bring us closer, provided they are done consistently and from the heart. We should try to build a bond in our children with our grandparents. We have to point out things like a sweater or a hat that grandmother knitted for them and say, it took hours for your grandmother to make this for you. She must love you very much. When my wife serves food on the dining table, I should tell my daughter, it took hours for our mother to prepare this dish for you. She loves you very much. This is 1-minute magic. But actually, we are exploding 1-minute grenades in houses. Instead of 1 minute grenades, we should perform 1 minute magics. We are good at exploding 1 minute grenades also. We can play games with our children. Who blinks first game? We might have played this game when our children were kids. I know a family, senior citizens, father and mother, 3 sons and 1 daughter, about 25. Every day they play games. They dine together, pray together. Their bedtime is precious, priceless. We might label them as silly, but they are enjoying themselves. When traveling, send your kids a 1 minute video text saying how much you miss them. If they don't have their phone, you could send it to your partner and have her show it to them. Let them comprehend the depth, the profundity of your love. Show that you value their knowledge and opinions by asking questions. Can you tell me how to operate this mobile? Can you tell me why? Can you tell me how? Our children will definitely feel proud. Ask their advice. Can you tell me your choice of paint? Can you tell me what color of the tile should be? They will feel proud. The common adage is this: a family that prays together stays together. But in the present century, such a scene is a rare scene. Dr. Prashant Jindal, a very famous child psychologist, has listed a long items of do's and don'ts. Due to the paucity of time, I may not be able to list out all those items, but I'm happy to share some of them. We ought to be like children when we are with the children. Anto Michael should be a small Anto when I am with Isabel. Respected Robin Josar should be a small kid named Robin when he is in the midst of children. Shihabuddin ji should not be this Shihabuddin with a beautiful beard when he is with the children. We can have pillow fights. I cited the family. I have just cited the family of 3 sons and 1 daughter. They regularly have these pillow fights. Go cloud watching. Take your children, lie on the ground and look for shapes of animals or faces in the sky. Without any effort, the bond will become salubrious. Jump in some big puddles and relive your childhood with your kids. You do not have time. Have plenty of tickle fights. Tickle fights. This is the term in Europe. Tickle fights. We do not have time to tickle our partners. There is the time to tickle our children. Just before bedtime, it is in psychology, it is said bedtime is precious. Just before bedtime, surprise your children by taking them out for ice cream in their pajamas or something else. It is okay once in a while, not every day. Why can't you start a family blog? Let them write. Let them write. When with kids, when with the children, answer a call. When they call you over phone, simply say, hello, this is the proud father of your kid's name. The child will dial you. Hello. Yes. Jaimon Joy, the proud father of, simply say. He might crack a joke. Enough. Don't flatter. Why can't we take silly photos of each other and create a laugh out loud album? I remember an article that appeared in Reader's Digest. It's a great exercise to build relationship in the members of the family. Build an album incorporating the loose photos. As parents, we can list all the things that have changed since they were children. We can remind our kids that we had wind down car windows, rotary dial telephones. We didn't have remote control in the past. Let them understand that the world has changed. Let them cultivate gratitude. Parents have a responsibility to make birthdays memorable. Very often what we do, for the sake of the occasion, we buy a cake. And we celebrate for the sake of celebration. But we should devote, if possible, be on leave on that day. Let them understand that the parents treasure my birthday. Try filling their bedroom with balloons while they are still asleep. And put candles on every meal they eat that day. We can clean the house together. A very small gesture. We can wash the dishes with them. I do not know whether how many of you have taught your children to clean the dishes, the plates, to clean their own clothes. We can call up our grandparents if they live elsewhere. Parents ought to practice some don'ts also. We should never say when we are with the children, I give up. I should never tell my wife, no, I give up. I cannot tolerate my boss. I'm going to resign. I cannot live with my elder brother here. I give up. As a parent, I should never say so. As a parent, I should never watch violent movies. I should never shout at or criticize my wife. As a parent, I should never swear. When my child is talking to me, I should never email or text. I should never criticize my wife. I should never speak badly of others. If I wish that my daughter should never speak badly of teachers or friends. I should never act bored when my daughter wants to share something with me. I may be sleepy. I may be exhausted, but I should never act bored when my daughter wants to share something with me. I should never throw litter on the road. I should never be rude to the waiters or service personnel. I should never hit my children. I should never belittle my children. Parents should never criticize their school without explaining why. This is a very bad habit many parents do. When children are sitting with us, we should simply criticize teachers and school. We should desist from this habit. We should never say yes when our partners say no. My wife might have told no to my daughter. Don't do that. I should never say yes to my daughter regarding the same act. I should never ask my children to fetch cigarettes, lighter, or beer cans from the fridge. I have seen many parents doing that. I should never get mad when my child embarrasses me in public. I should never get mad. I should never criticize a dish when my wife presents it on the dining table. We might ridicule Dr. Prashant Jindal for presenting such a list. These are very small gestures, but they count a lot. Unlike the older generation of parents, we, the contemporary parents, face a lot more new, novel challenges. The major challenge might be digital detoxing, computer addiction, mobile addiction. Many parents report their headaches pertaining to this topic. Child psychology has devoted a lot of research on this topic. Gary King asks us some questions regarding this. I think that questions might help you a lot. Find out if there are any specific reasons that a child spends so much time on the computer or mobile. Sometimes this computer acts as an escape from reality. If my child is facing problems that are causing a desire within him or her to escape, as a parent, I should try and address those problems. I should teach my child to share their feelings and emotions with me. My child, my daughter, should not suppress her feelings. The next question that we should ponder is, where do you keep the computer? Keeping the computer in a separate room is enough to reduce its usage by your child. It is not my comment. I present these plums based on psychology. Keep the computer in a separate room is enough to mitigate its usage. Always observe what they are accessing. Many parents do not know what their children are accessing. If we keep the computer in the hall or in a separate room, it becomes easy for us to monitor the amount of time my daughter or my son spends in front of the screen. Am I right? He might have given a separate room upstairs. My friend has bought 3 computers to 3 children. What a grand love. 3 computers to 3 children to 3 entirely different rooms. Now he is complaining, he is lamenting, they are computer addicts. This is a very serious question to ponder. The parent should admit that the child is addicted to the computer. If I am not aware of this fact, it will not be easy for me to correct my child. I should find out what my child is addicted to. Social media, or playing games, or browsing the net, or porn sites, or chatting with friends, or chatting with strangers. So many calamities happen. I do not elucidate those areas. You know very well. The point is this: if our children are gathering information that are useful to their education, then they should be appreciated for it. If they browse the net to access knowledge, then they should be appreciated. We should see to it that our children stick to the time limit. Make a conscious effort to list how many hours our children are spending online, and then slowly start reducing the hours. As I have told you earlier, keep the promise, keep the threat. It has been observed that children do not know how time flies. So it is our duty to fix the time. To reduce this computer addiction, parents should encourage outdoor activities. Replace the time that our children spend in front of the computer with some fun outdoor activities. Trekking, walking on the beach, walking on the garden, we can do. Last but not the least, we have to spend time with our children. It is important to know if your child is suffering from deep loneliness, as such people are hooked onto the internet, and they seek instant gratification for their feelings and emotions there. That's why our daughters are eloping with men with whom they have had contact for just a week. I know an incident where a very talented girl eloped with a boy with whom she had 5 Instagram meetings. As parents, have we developed hobbies for our children? Then my simple question, what is the hobby of your child? What hobby have you developed for your daughter? Is it cooking? Or is it reading? We do not have hobbies. And what will be the case of our children, sir? This is a very serious question. We should teach our children to cope with the failure. The present tendency is this: when something bad happens, our children proclaim it is awful, it is intolerable. Suddenly we take our children to psychologists, hoping that he has a panacea to cure our children. Nothing happens. We take the same child to second psychologist. Recently, I came across a father, a very famous doctor, was taken his son studying in standard 8 to 12 psychologists. So my number is 13. He has 4 huge hospitals, illustrious doctor. But sun is the migraine. If I use the metaphor, sun is the migraine. We should teach our children like this. When something bad happens, simply tell, it was unfortunate. I failed in the examination. It was unfortunate. But it is not the end of the world. We should inculcate this feeling in our children. Academics are only one facet of life. Marks do not define you. We should teach them. Marks do not define you. It is not the end of life. One setback does not define you. Success in your life is not dependent on how much you score in exam. If such a sentence comes from the mouth of the mother, child will take it seriously. This sentence is from my mother. Your success in life is not dependent on how much you score in exam. A combination of things makes you successful. Parents should tell them. Parents should tell them. Does your child always want to buy the latest PlayStation? Does your child always want to buy the modern gadgets, designer clothes, CDs? Do they clamor for such things? Does your 9-year-old child want to treat her friends at a high-end restaurant on their birthday? If your answer is yes, I will tell you, then you have created a feeling in them that owning the latest gadgets, living an opulent life is the key to being accepted among peers. This is a modern malady, according to psychologists. Owning latest gadgets and living an opulent life is the key to being accepted among peers. This is a serious case. We commit the mistakes. We should not bribe children to get good grades. They often do. Most parents, I know that parents of Noble International Family will not have. Most parents have a habit of bribing their children when it comes to grades, not realizing the harmful effect it has on them. If you score 10 A+, I will give you the bike, Duke bike, or a modern version of Bullet. Never do this. We should explain to our children the importance of education and how a lack of good education could affect your future. That is the only one thing I should do. Some parents give pocket money for household chores. Go to the shop, buy these things, and keep the balance 100 rupees with you. What will happen? The child will get the idea that chores are a job, not their duty. Chores are a part of the discipline during the developmental phase of our children. It helps them to be responsible, helpful. We do not take our children to the markets to buy vegetables. So sometimes our children find it arduous to differentiate between cabbage and cauliflower. At least once in a blue moon, send them to buy something. Give them a list and ask for the balance amount. Do not give children pocket money for household chores. Allowance for getting them to do their course can be the worst thing a parent could do. Psychologist Seema Hingorani, a very famous psychologist in India, says that paying allowances to children for doing household activities causes confusion in them. It creates unreasonable expectations in their minds. As parents, we should discuss our real financial position with our children. We should empower them by discussing our financial position. We should never take a loan to send our children to the US. Recently, a parent came to my room and asked for my advice. I asked about the area in which she needed my advice. I want to send my son to London. I asked, what for? Study BA literature. I simply asked, what is the cost? She didn't at first tell me the cost. She elucidated her thought. It's a prestigious university. It's very difficult to get admission there. But somehow I procured one seat. I repeated the question, what is the cost? 20 lakh per year. I said, do not send him. Never take a loan. Never hire money for educational purposes. We should introduce the concept of saving money to children step by step, befitting the child's age and understanding. Now, for the last 2 or 3 years, another challenge is cropping up in families. Botox, especially in the lives of daughters. What is Botox? Botox is a protein made from botulinum toxin, which is produced by the bacteria called Clostridium botulinum. You might have heard about that. Actually, it is a toxin. But doctors use this substance in small doses to have facials. I know a parent who usually complains to me about her daughter spending hours for facials. It is the duty of the parents to tell our daughters that good looks do not make a human being happy. Good looks do not make a human being happy. These are all pieces of advice based on psychology. But the most momentous thing to remember is only this. Children do not obey. They simply imitate. I repeat, children do not obey. They simply imitate. Do you know whom I am imitating? I'm simply imitating my parents. I learned this theory when I became a student of the famous healer, Louis Hay. During my adolescent days, I used to complain, why is my mother behaving like this? Very often I used to complain, why am I short-tempered? I understood this theory. I am imitating the pattern of my parents. I had this awareness. Then I tried my level best to change my pattern. If I take a decision to change my pattern today, it will definitely have a positive effect in the lives of my children. Persistent patterns persist persistently. This is the theory. I have a pattern. It is getting repeated every now and then. Kabilan Prabhu sir is repeating the pattern his parents used to have. If I take a decision to make a voluntary shift in an undesirable pattern that I am practicing now, my children will start living a different life from the very next day onwards. Parents should be popcorn machine, not the popcorn. In many families, children are the popcorn machines, parents are the popcorn. Children decide, children demand, children do the tantrums, we obey. This is the comment of Ernest Tebova. Are you a popcorn or a popcorn machine? If you live your life based on the whims and caprices of your children, you will be like the corn in the machine. The child asks for something, you immediately give. As parents, we should change the circumstances. Children will never change. We should change the circumstances. But what are we doing? We are waiting for our children to change. Basher, the child psychologist, says a very interesting sentence. Watching the circumstances to change, so the parents feel good, is like looking at the mirror and waiting for our reflections to smile first. Will that be good? Definitely not. So, my humble request to all the loving and lovable parents is to change the circumstances inside our homes. I think the time allotted to me is coming to a close. I have just shared some plums. If any one of the plum you found it edible or delicious or tasty, then start or try applying it in the life. If it yields any good results, continue. If it doesn't produce any result, let it go. Thank you very much for your patient presence. We have a group called, as Shusar has mentioned, we have a group called Self-Improvement Hub. It is a center for psychological studies. We offer so many behavioral therapy. Some trainings are done for a very nominal investment, and the investment is used for charitable activities. And the members of this group always post motivational messages. So you have a craving to be a member of this group, you can send a personal WhatsApp to me. And if any one of you need more ideas pertaining to parenting, so many psychological researches have taken place. And if you need more updates on the topic, or if you want to address a particular problem with regard to your life, you can send a text to my WhatsApp. Number is 9447 000 285. 9447 000 285. If I can help you, I will be ecstatic to help you. If I do not have a ready answer, I will refer to the theories and get back to you. Anyway, I thank all the teachers, parents, and the respected Shibu sir for inviting me again to be with you. It was a great moment for me, a red letter day for me. I am also trying to become a better parent. I am also applying these theories in the life of my child. And I am getting the results. And I have shared the plums, only those plums I have found
Was truly not few plums. You have shared quite a lot of plums, and it will be definitely beneficial to each and every one of us as parents, as teachers, because it's very rare to get all these big bunch of plums together, but you have shared it just like some of a group of a bundle of plums together. Thank you so much. I don't want to take much of time because I know in back home right now it's probably 11:45, and I really appreciate the pain you have taken in this late night to be with us, to be with the Noble family. Anyway, we'll be winding up the session soon. Mr. Jaimon is requested to give the vote of thanks, please.
Respected resource person Andrew Michael sir, our honorable principal Shibu Abdul Rashid, parents, teachers, and my dear students. Some of the parents may have a question in their mind. Do we need this kind of parenting sessions really in our life? And some of us may feel that we are the best parents in the universe. From my own experience, as a parent of 2 grown-up children, I can tell you confidently that we all need guidance in parenting. I want to share a small experience with you now. When my elder son was 2 years old, he was trying to climb a chair, he was trying to sit on the chair, and he was about to fall. You know, a parent's feeling at that time. Suddenly, I ran to my child and tried to catch him. My brother-in-law was sitting very close to me. He gave me a very important tip on that day. He told me, don't stop him from getting that particular experience. Let him experience it. And if you are so concerned about his safety, you put down a few pillows under the chair so that when he falls, he will not be hurted. This is a very important lesson, and this is what exactly Andrew sir shared today. Today, our problem is not with parenting, the real problem is over-parenting. He mentioned this term, over-parenting. This is very much applicable with modern parents. We are too much concerned about our children. We don't allow them to do anything by their own. We are overprotective. Even we think for their sake. We will not allow them to think by their own. So what's happening ultimately? We are just creating puppets. All strings are attached to us, and we are controlling them. We are not trying to give them experiences in life. We are not allowing them to explore in life. We are not trying to allow them to experiment in life. So as parents, please give them a lot of life experiences. And sir already mentioned about life skills and how to impart those life skills. It should not be just by verbal, instructions. We need to, create a life pattern so that our children can make it a model and then become successful in life. Ando sir is not new to this school. Many of the parents and teachers who are sitting here, they have attended the previous, the session. And I still remember many parents asked for a repeat session or follow-up session in those days. And that is the exact reason why he is here again. And I can tell without any doubt, all our parents and teachers will be definitely benefited by your session, and they must have received at least few tips which can be helpful in their parenting process. So I thank Mr. Ando Michael wholeheartedly for spending his valuable time with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And our principal, sir, Mr. Shibu Abdul Rashid, who is always termed as the captain of the ship. He is the person who is responsible for arranging such sessions for the parents and teachers. And as a formality, I want to thank our principal, for arranging such a wonderful session. I thank all the parents, children, and teachers, especially the vice principal, Mr. Robin Joes, for spending your time by understanding the importance of parenting, because we all are here due to the reason that we all understand the importance of parenting, in our life. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Ando sir, I'm sorry. Actually, I can understand your schedule also. That's why I don't know whether I can totally skip the question answering or doubt clearance session.
I'm free. I'm free. Okay. Let them ask.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. If any parents see, the platform is very open to you, because sir has already displayed his mobile number there. He has already invited you to Self-Improvement Hub. But still, if any parents are having a very serious, genuine doubts to be cleared, you are most welcome. You can just text in the chat box, so he can read it out and he can quickly give the answer. That will
No. Shibu sir, now it is 11:45 a.m. here. No problem.
Okay.
Okay, not p.m. Okay.
Thank
now
you
the
so
situation is more congenial. Okay.
Okay. If any parents would like to clear, please. Or even teachers too. Yeah, sure.
Oh, yes, definitely. We can interact rather than a question answer session. We can reframe that. We can have an interactive session if you wish so.
Aliga Krishna parent, you can text. Or if it won't make further complications, Mr. Shihab, you can unmute that particular parent, those who are hand raising, so we can save time also there.
Okay, sir. Will do. they can raise their hands, sir. Then I will remove them. I will
Yeah, you can raise the
unmute.
parent, though, that's good. You can raise your hand so that particular parent will be unmuted.
Lika Krishna.
So there is one question. Any tips for the kids with the anxiety issues? Anxiety issues.
Yeah, yes. Anxiety issues.
Can I speak?
Most.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for. I'm very fortunate to attend such a wonderful session, and thanks all of you, Noble Management and sir. Just as my concern only this one. Okay, we can as a role model for our kids and all. I am happy with my kid. They are achieving 8 out of 10. But there is my concern is that the peer pressure from the society, from the school side, etc., etc. For imagine that if my kid want to join for another school or for a competitive with some other area, so the situation, this mark is validating. Its comparison is coming 8 out of 10. Okay, I am happy with this 8 out of 10, but when we are entered to another school or some other organization, some other exam, this pressure is coming to me. So how we can tackle for such a situation? I am happy with what my kid is achieving. I can encourage. But this kind of situation, most of the parents are maybe facing such a situation. So automatically we are pressurizing our kids also to reach from 8 to 10. So how we can cope up with this situation?
That's a very interesting question. Marks are necessary. Grades are necessary. And respected, your name, sir?
My name is Pradeep Kumar.
Okay. Are you from Kerala?
Yes, I'm from Kerala.
Yeah, yes. You said a sentence, I am happy thrice, 3 times. If I remember correctly. I'm happy with the grade of my child. I accept it. At the same time, even when I say I'm happy with the grade of my child, knowingly or unknowingly, I am becoming the victim. I use the psychological term victim of a thought. I want to send my child to a particular school, or I want to send my child to a particular organization. So even when I use the sentence, I am happy with the grade of my child, I am the victim of a particular belief pattern that, are you getting me?
Yeah, sure, I'm following you. Sir.
I am becoming the victim of a particular belief that such and such criteria, such and such grades are inevitable for my child. And I am creating a demand in my mind, a demand about myself, a demand about my son, and a demand about the whole situation. Okay. David Amin, the famous psychologist, terms this. I will not use the term disorder, the state, as shouldy statement. But being educated, we will never say that I have these shoulds. But unknowingly, we impose this should in our children. Mark is not important for me. Grade is not important for me. But you should study in this particular school. If I am pleased with the grade of the child, that is enough. Then we should not stretch ourselves to anyone else to get the recognition for my child. One more thing. When we encounter a problem or when we face a crisis in our lives or in the lives of our children, marks, academic performance, whatever it may be, Never ask questions that start with who, when, or why. This is a famous philosophy, famous psychology of John Miller. He is still alive. It was postulated in 2000, very recent theory. When will he get admission with such a low grade? Why did he procure such a low grade? Who will give him admission in higher course? These questions are incorrect, not precise, and they will never give us the correct answers. The correct questions ought to be, how can I make the life of my child better with this mark? What should I do to make the life of my child right? A very famous theory. Never ask questions pertaining to your children. Never ask questions in the subjects pertaining to your children that start with who, when, or why. This is a very famous theory that might help us a lot to solve any problem that we encounter in our lives. Frame questions that commence with what or how. How can I face this situation? My child does not communicate freely with me. Why is so? Why is he so? When will he talk freely to me? Who created this situation? Such questions will never give us the correct, precise answers. On the other hand, as a parent, if I frame two different questions, how can I create a situation in this home wherein my child will open up? Then the situations will change. So regarding the marks, regarding the particular question you asked, this is a demand. A lion's share of the parents cherish this demand. Why? Because we have been trained so. This is a persistent pattern. Being a Malayali, you might have heard about one Gopalakrishnan and Sarangi. Did you have you heard about him?
Not sure. I can't recall actually now.
Yeah, he's still here. His wife's name, sorry, I forgot. Gopalakrishnan. Okay. Gopalakrishnan and his wife. They have two children. They never send their children to school. But now they are the visiting professors of so many European countries. They are polymaths or they are polyglots. They know several languages. They are aces at many subjects. They are running a school. The point I am trying to elucidate is this. They didn't have, they were not, these parents were not the victims of a persistent pattern. My child needs a degree to become erudite. My child needs such and such things to become successful in life. Simply check, simply do an introspection. We are the victims of so many thoughts. As parents, we are the victims of numerous thoughts. As we are the victims of numerous thoughts, the styles of our parenting will get reflected accordingly. When I take a decision to become a non-victim, my parenting style will become different. Then only I will be able to tell my daughter, it's okay to fail. It is okay to be angry. It is okay to cry. Devon sir cited an incident. I remember an event that happened in the life of the famous hypnotherapist Milton Erickson. His daughter was climbing up. Mother, his wife, Alice, was shouting, no, don't do. Milton Erickson was as cool as cucumber. He said, hold tight and climb up. Hold tight and climb up. Why? Because he was not a victim of the thought of falling. He was not a victim of that thought. That's why he was able to act in that way. So as parents, we have to check to which all thoughts have I become the victim.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Excuse me, sir. One parent, Fauzia Muhammad parent, asked one question. Any tips for kids with anxiety issues?
Anxiety issues. The very, very famous remedy is this. You might have heard of the very famous sentence of Eric Berne, the oft-quoted sentence. Each child is a, complete. Each child is a prince or princess. We parents turn them into frogs. If my daughter Isabel is anxious in my house, it is not her fault. Some behavior, some trait, some idiosyncrasy from my part made her so. So I should have a free communication with my daughter, or I should observe her gestures. I should check where I have gone wrong.
Thank you, sir. Mahadev Devikant parent.
Hello, sir.
Please.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, audible. Tell me.
Yeah. First of all, thanks everybody for organizing such an event. It was really helpful in order to learn such tips from you, sir.
Thank you.
Actually, I have a concern. Like my son is studying in KG1. So he's
KG1. KG?
Yeah, KG1.
Okay. Still you are concerned.
I'm not like that, because he's almost 4 years old. So like during the COVID crisis, we could not go, like we could go to a get together, and he could not socialize more with like children and all. So he's like finding it a little bit difficulty in order to catch up with the speaking, like so like when he goes to school, like he finds it pretty much difficult in order to catch up with the, like he doesn't understand what we are trying to convey. So like so when he returns home, and he'll have some homeworks and all, and like I feel like I'm putting him I'm giving him a little more pressure. Like I'm feeling like so.
So you feel that you are giving your child pressure.
So like is there like every day a little, like how much time we have to allot for him for these studies and all?
Okay. Very good question. Suppose you are, just imagine that you are a child of your daughter's age.
Yeah, my son.
No, my son, yeah, your son's age.
Yeah.
Remember, you were also a kid of this KG1. How long did you wish to study?
Maybe like
Per day. How long did you actually wish to learn? You know that it is a good thing to study, it is the right thing to study. But my question is this: how long did you actually wish to learn per day?
yeah, maybe I would like to like just run and play.
Run and play. You know that? Eh?
That's why I'm concerned, sir.
Yeah. No. You, when you were a kid, you wanted to run and play at this age.
Yeah.
Admit it in the very first phase.
Yeah.
Admit it. So when your child runs and plays, remove that demand, remove that victim mindset. So your concern will come down. Okay? And wait for your son to come to the next level. But when the child runs and plays, you can teach him a lot. May I give you an example?
Yes, sir.
My daughter is in standard 1. And many relatives come and she has a good vocabulary. After having lunch, if she produces the sound, I will ask her, Isa, is it belching or is it hiccup? She will repeat her sound. Oh. This is belching. This is hiccup. She will narrate. She will deliver a lecture on hiccup and belching. See, I will use the daily circumstances to teach her vocabulary. When I take her to buy fruits from the market, I will buy gooseberry. And when we return, I will simply tell her, this object has another term. She will learn it. When I bought lady's finger, I told her that okra, we can use the term okra also. We can use the term okra also to indicate the meaning of lady's finger. Sir, I did not ask her to sit on a chair in front of me to learn these words. So when your son runs and plays, okay, you can make use of that time to make him learn it. Explore the areas. Because parenting is an art. You can design your own plots. But we, the parents, often proclaim two sentences. Nothing can improve the situation. No parent has felt this before. Just come to my home and see the plight of, see our plight. Nothing can improve the situation. No parent has felt this before. These are wrong, erroneous.
Thank you.
But one more thing. To make tangible results in the lives of our children, we have to take one thing. Do you know what that thing is?
We have to take one thing.
Fits. We have to take one thing to make considerable changes in the lives of our children. Sid Simon, the psychologist, did a research in 33 countries and proclaimed this theory. A 4-letter word for the key to success in the life of a parent. Risk. Parents have to take risk. I told you, we have to celebrate the birthdays of our children. We have to take the risk. We have to be on leave on that day. It may be a risk for us. In order to teach powerful vocabulary to my daughter, I have to take risks. I have to frame the schedules. I have to frame the patterns as to how I can teach this particular word to my daughter. I have selected some specific video games so that my daughter would get amusement as well as learning. I'm not concerned about my daughter watching YouTube because I have specifically selected some specific video games for my daughter. She will get ample amusement. She will get ample learning also. Sir, remove that term concern from your dictionary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. The time is crossing, I think, with the permission of parents, sir. And sir, can we wind up?
Yeah. If you wish so.
Actually, one parent is there, Afreen Ayan. I'm not clear with the text what the parent.
Yes, I also saw it.
Could you please, sir, how to deal with this?
Okay, let them. You feel free to text me. I will give you the elucidations on the basis of relevant theories, and I will suggest the names of the psychologists. I will suggest the names of the book that might help you a lot, so that you can update your learning.
Thank you.
An updated parent will always become a better parent. This is a saying. An updated parent will always be a better parent.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shibu sir. Thanks a lot for being with me.
For being with us. We should say thanks to you and to the Almighty for getting your valuable time with us. No doubt, it was really fruitful, sir. So a real good night to you, because
one more thing, sir. One more thing. The parents are free to ask this question to me. What else, apart from the plums you have served today, what else? If any parent asks me such a question, then I will supply more and more plums, because these are not the exclusive plums pertaining to parenting. So many other theories are there. I will be happy to share those plums with those respected parents who are desirous of getting information about that. Okay, sure, sir. Thank you.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, dear parents and my dear teachers. All the very best. Good night to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.